Good to see you, Tia.
I know.
Good to see you, Bentonville, Arkansas.
Great faces.
Although, who is actually from Bentonville?
Like one person?
I love that. Four of us, but it's a meeting point.
And this is her second stop, so.
I love it. Well, you guys can be seated. Thank you so much for the warm Arkansas welcome.
I mean, they're showing up. They're showing everyone up. I mean, I don't think we've had this, like where they all are like.
That's right. Well, you know what? This is like Southern hospitality, right?
Yeah.
And y'all know how to treat people. We have been treated so well. Actually, it's interesting. We've been being treated really well since we got to Tulsa.
Yeah.
And then it's just gotten better as we move south. So Carol, Ryan, thank you. Everybody who's just been a part of inviting us here. We are so honored to be here. And we're going to have fun for the next 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yes,
and I promise you it will not be longer than 3 because I don't go long. But I was looking at the memo too. I'm like, whoops, somehow it says 3.
Oh.
But you know what? If you don't like me, get up and leave. All right?
I don't think they will.
I may call you out. No, I will not do that.
No, it's good. Everybody's going to hang. It's going to be a good day. We are so excited to be in this area. I've been to Arkansas one other time because my brother-in-law is from Rudy. Anyone from Rudy around there? Okay. Yeah, I traveled with my family on the way to Dallas, Texas, and we stopped in Rudy and stayed over. I mean, there's like 5 houses on this property, like the great-grandma, the grandpa, and the dad, like all live on this land. And it was a really cool experience because they have like a big old kitchen like in the middle of the property. It's like, it is total family here, and that's what I love. And Doug and I are about family. We're about helping you begin to thrive in all areas of your life. So this is rich. You got rich heritage right here. So.
Yeah. So how many of you, by a show of hands, have life all figured out and things are just going perfectly? There's not an issue in the world. Okay, good. We're all on the side, besides Tony, okay?
You got it all figured out?
Well, actually, here, Tony. Here's the clicker. All you, man. Because Tia and I don't. And so now you guys are like, oh, crap, what did we come to today? I thought we were coming to learn. You know what? We're on this journey of life together and with you. We're figuring things out. And really how Massive Momentum got started is we were not in any type of momentum just a few years ago. And it was interesting during this journey that we started, we wanted to get clarity on our purpose. But what does that even mean? You know, I think, each and every one of us are God's highest form of creation. And did he put us on this earth just to go through the motions, to do the, I hate Mondays, to the hump day Wednesdays, to the TGI Fridays, show up to church on Sunday and try to put a fake smile on our face sometimes and start the whole process over again?
Right.
And we discovered during this process that we were not having fun and we were not thriving. And so, and so we made some key decisions, but Tia, one of the recent decisions was to go around in a bus and literally live in an RV for a summer, which I want to go home.
Yesterday he was kind of wanting to go home. A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
We kind of came to this place last year because of the ability and the freedom of the career we've chosen with coaching to get to travel the world. And it was amazing. We got to see some of the most beautiful places from Israel to Croatia. And it's amazing. If you want to travel, please build that in your life, build the finances to go do it because it was life-changing. But we also found and looked at ourselves, mainly looking at Doug throughout the year last year, and him just kind of not being fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And this book was in him, and obviously you see it here in front of you, Church Boy to Millionaire, and this story and this wisdom and this knowledge was within him, and he knew he needed to get it out. And many times over last year, I would look at him and just see that he was just restless. And then in January, when you kind of you made it happen in 4 days,
right.
You wrote this book with your editor, and you brought it forth. And then we kind of looked at each other. It's like, okay, we know we're better with the people, and we know that's where breakthrough happens. And so Doug's like, well, let's, we've got this place in San Diego to be to, and I'm speaking at Father's Day in Tuscaloosa. And so we had a couple places we were going to go visit this summer. And then what turned from a couple stops turned into 26 different stops on this Mass Momentum tour. So Doug originally had this idea to travel around maybe in a Sprinter van, and then it was a 1-800 RV. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going all diva on you, but
no, you did go diva.
I did go
because
diva.
because I said, Tia, if we're gonna start doing this and we're gonna travel around the country, I pulled up a picture of this motorhome, and it was awesome. It was like an 18-foot motorhome.
1-800 RV.
1-800 rent RV, and I'm like, this is perfect. And she looked at me and she goes, 3.5 months with 3 kids in that, and I'm like, what's wrong with that?
I'm
Some
like,
of you ladies know what I'm talking about.
We will kill each other. Yeah, I mean, like, we want to be in momentum, not like in strangle mode. So, so we began this journey of like putting it out there to the United States that we were coming to a city near you, and Carol and Ryan said, come to Arkansas. And so here we are. You are our 12th stop. We have how many more to go? We're almost
13 more.
13 more to go. And we did not get that 1-800 RV. You probably saw the RV as you were coming in. We found it in Denver, Colorado. It has 2 little bathrooms in there. It's great. It has the little slide outs. And it's been quite the adventure in it. A lot of fun, a lot of jostling things, cupboards
it has.
breaking. And we're not next. Doug's not actually like a Mr. Fixer-upper. He's like, that's not, I mean, I love you. You have a lot of great skill
We all have
sets.
strengths, but turning a screwdriver is not one of mine.
No. Gorilla Glue is our friend.
Gorilla Glue and duct tape.
Yep, and duct tape.
Seriously, you go out there, one of the cupboards right now
There's some cupboards that have duct tape right now.
But hey, you know what? We're figuring it out. And one thing I also discovered that I've done a lot of camping in my life, but I've never like done the full camping. And I didn't know that what you put into the RV toilet has to come out. So my dad's always done that part growing up. Well, I had a hard lesson in Oregon, not to pull the wrong plug at the wrong time. Luckily, I had orange gloves on, but I might as well have had a hazmat suit because let's just say I needed a shower and to detox. So anyway, lessons on your first time emptying the poo-poo, John. It's just, anyway, so it's been cool. Other than actually I have no hair on this arm because somebody turned the gas on.
Someone meaning our little boy Phoenix.
Our little boy Phoenix, who almost ran on the stage earlier. He turned the gas on, we didn't know it, and everyone thought we were smelling gas. I'm like, no, that's just the poo-poo.
That's the toilet.
That's the toilet. And they're like, no, I think it's gas. I'm like, yeah, it's gas, all right, from the bathroom. And we came back after dinner, and I'm like, oh, somebody turned the gas on. And I went, and not knowing the RV, there were 2 buttons, and I thought they were both burners that were turned on, and one of them was the igniter. And I literally, the biggest puff of fire came up and singed my arm. Just hair, no 3rd-degree burns or 4th or 5th.
No, baby bottom right now.
Yeah, so you know what? We are having the time of our life getting into massive momentum.
Yeah.
Learning, growing.
We are growing.
But you know what? Isn't that what life's all about?
Yep.
Isn't that what life's all about? And you know what? That's what we want to talk about today, is really how do we get into momentum?
Yeah.
Who wants more momentum in their life? Who wants more momentum?
Good.
Who wants more momentum in a better marriage?
Yes.
Yes. Who wants more income?
Amen.
Who wants less debt?
Yes.
All right. Who wants better health?
Yep.
We're in the right room, except 4 of you are not raising your hand for nothing. And Tony and you 3 are going to come teach this here in a second. But
you didn't know you're on a panel today? Okay.
Well, Tia, let's just dive into it because, you know, it's interesting about, we made a couple of key choices in our life.
Yes, we did.
But it's interesting that it really started with 9 years ago, us consciously waking up to 3 key areas of our life that we were going through the motions in. So you want to take number 1?
Well, we had to come to a place where and look at the current reality we were in our physical health, in our mental well-being, in our spiritual and financial. And the one thing that we could do is to make a decision for our health. We knew we had little kids at the time, and we needed to get healthy for them. It was much for them. I was for me as well, but I'm like, I have to keep up with these little kiddos. So we made a decision, and a decision doesn't just happen, and then you're just magically there. It's a conscious decision every day to live it out. So it starts with a decision.
So number 1 is decision, just like Tia said. And you're either going to love this word here at 3:30 today, or you're going to hate this word. Because we are going to use the word decision the entire day. Ryan's going to be talking about the power of decision later. Tony's going to be talking about the power of decision later. But decision, everything in life, nothing changes until you make a fundamental decision that this, I've had enough, and here's what I'm choosing. I constantly ask a lot of people, and I'll ask you probably at some point today, and I'll ask you now. What is it that you want? Actually, let's just do this right now. Think of something right now that revolves in an area of finances, health, faith, or relationships. Probably the 4 things that you're always constantly asking for prayer for. What is it that you want? Think about it or write it down. Did we put the note cards out today, or did we forget?
Oh,
I think we forgot those. Well, everyone has phones. They can. You can make it look like you're taking notes, and you can really be scrolling on Facebook.
There's some good students up here.
So what is it that you want? Second question is, why is it that you want that? And when you want something, and here, you might say, I want better health. I want you to define what better health means to you. I want a better marriage. What does a better marriage mean to you? I want increased finances. What does that, identify a number, and it's your number. It's whatever it is to you. You don't have to explain it to anybody. This is, this isn't school where okay, now somebody show what they wrote down. No, this is between you and yourself. My third question is, what are you willing to do to get it? And Tia and I asked ourselves 9 years ago. See, I was $220,000 in unsecured credit card debt. I had an additional $1.5 million owed on a lease on a building in town. I was 270 pounds. I wasn't seeing her or the kids. I was extremely frustrated. I was questioning my faith. I was questioning my marriage. I was questioning even my existence. And I literally, once I realized that there was no way out, that no one was coming to save me but me, it was going to be a partnership between me and God. And it seemed like for the four years before that, I spent all those years praying, God, bail me out. God, help me. God, I need you, and I do need a miracle. And you know what? We got to pray like it depends on God. But there does come a point in our life, in your life, where we must start working like it depends on us. And when we made a fundamental decision that, you know what, I'm done. I'm about ready to leave her. I'm about ready to swallow my pride and let my amigo, which is not my amigo, get rid of everything. And literally, I was going to be like, maybe it's easier if her and the girls go on without me, and I go out and do something else. Okay, you start questioning things when you're in such a bad spot. Your morals start taking a back seat a little bit. You start questioning different areas of your life that you used to would never even negotiate. All of a sudden, it becomes negotiable again. But nothing changed until literally we had a complete, as Tia, you call it, a throwdown. We're like, you know what, I'm calling complete BS on my life, and I'm going to make a fundamental change. And, you know, thankfully that happened at 33. But the cool thing is, since Massive Momentum started, and many people in this room, in other rooms that we've been a part of the last few weeks, there was a lady in Tulsa the other night, Gigi. 85 years old. No, 81. 81. She's a psychiatrist. She walked into the room. She told me how much she knew. She told me about her degree. She told me she was coming just to check me out, to see if what I was talking aligned with her beliefs, okay? The reason I call her Gigi, she says she's Gigi to her grandkids. I said, I just lost my Gigi. She acted just like her. She looked just like her. She was spicy just like her, and I loved her. And I'm like, okay, Gigi, we'll see. The end of that night, she's the one that got up and shared, and she was just like, 81, and you just gave me the keys to literally complete thriving my life, because I'm going to live till 109. And it was the coolest thing, because that night, she made a decision that, yes, life has been going well, but there's always room for more. Tia, decision is so powerful.
It's so powerful on this journey. And in order to, once you make that decision, things are going to come up that we have to confront. And this is, you know, where I say we have to kick fear in the face, where I had to kick fear in the face. For me, I had an anger problem. Nobody else was going to help me navigate that. I couldn't blame it on my mama anymore, couldn't blame it on my grandma anymore. I had to take personal responsibility in my own life to work on my emotional awareness, my emotional intelligence. I had to become a student of how do I how do I navigate these waters? Because no one else is going to navigate these waters. I don't want to pass this on to the next generation. So I had to take personal responsibility and confront that. Nobody else is going to do it for me. I had to confront my emotional state at the time, you know, and I still on a daily basis confront those things that I tend to be very emotional. And tears are good. Like I am very connected to people, so that's a very powerful thing that I have about me, but I can also let it go the other way. So it's so important once you make that decision, embracing obstacles and embracing the process of confronting those things. And what I have found along the journey is finding experts, coaches, mentors in those fields to help me navigate those. Books, podcasts have helped me to be an overcomer, to be a contender in my life. But once we make the decision, we're going to have to confront some things.
And I apologize, and this will be the first and last time I apologize. I didn't give everybody a full warning label about today. Because you know what? In order to get into momentum and to live the life that we were meant to live, it takes confronting and looking within of the areas that we've chosen to ignore, or that our family has maybe chosen to ignore. The things that we think that are just, we can keep on slipping by, or the things that, what happens is, we're all living a life just like the car we drove here. Most of you cannot tell me that you remember the car right here, because some of you were texting while you were on here, and I'm not picking on you for that. Some of you were on Facebook at the stoplight. Some of you don't even remember you had everything going. You were telling well, maybe you weren't telling your kids what for because they're not here. But the bottom line is you can't tell me about the car right here because you do it on autopilot. Yeah. We do it so natural. I've seen some of you ladies. You drive with your knee, and you put on makeup just like this, and you can probably cover the kid from falling out too at the same time, and then you could probably send off a text down here, or at least a voice text. Y'all are super, and so are us dudes, okay? Because driving a car is so easy, and that's what happens to our life, and that's what got us in $220,000 in debt, extremely overweight, in a frustrated marriage. Yep. And it wasn't until we made the decision that, you know what, we got to wake up. It's like getting that new phone. Who's recently converted from one phone to a new phone? Is it not weird the first 5 to 7 days? It's like, where's the button? Yeah. But you become aware of everything you're doing. Who's used an iPhone for the last 7 or 8 years? Okay, honestly, you don't even, it's so natural, isn't it? You know where everything is. It's easy, swipe, boop, 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 chuk, chuk, chuk. Filter that photo, make it look all perfect, and we can just do it, and you're on this autopilot. Well, that's what's going on with our life. What's not on autopilot is my ear in this microphone, because I cannot get it to stay. I think I have a weird ear to you, honestly. But that's the thing. It's interesting to know that we have to start confronting the things that we've ignored. And one of the biggest things I had to confront was my weight. Yep. And some addictions that were no longer serving me. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought I could get away with them. I thought I could literally have just a couple of beverages every single night before bed, okay, until they began to get worse and worse and worse, until it became an issue. Just a little bit more wine, a little bit more chocolate, because it helps me sleep. But you know what? The first 2 times that worked. What about the next 6 months? And then it became a bottle. You see what I'm saying? These things can continue to, gosh, it just got dark in here. But it's interesting. These things can start to just become habits. Yeah. To where we're using things, and it's like, no, what do I want? And here's, just to make it real clear, we're not here to pick on anything that you're doing. You came here because you said you want some massive momentum. And we're just going to, we kind of talk about the things that helped us get into momentum, huh, T?
Yeah, so number 1, you got to make that decision. And number 2, confront those things. So for each one of us, it is important that you leave today knowing what you need to confront in your life, you know? For me, that was my anger, that was my weight, that was how I was showing up as a wife in my patience and how I prayed for him. I was blaming it all on him, where I had to take my own personal responsibility in the relationship and own my zone. So write that down today. Because in order to move forward, once we confront those things, we no longer look to the past to dictate our future. We become creators of our life. We begin to get into momentum because we don't let what our grandma, what our mom, or what the past decisions we made define us anymore. We get to create and design our future. And as you become creators, it is essential that you stay in momentum by following these decisions you've made, by confronting, by surrounding yourself with like-minded people. For us, in that creation mode, this is what gave us the propelling like momentum in our life, is getting around like-minded people. You become like the 5 people you surround yourself with. So there were seasons throughout this journey of, making that decision, confronting, that some of the people that we love the most, family, best friends, that I didn't like shoo them to the wayside. I just made a decision on how much time I spent with them. And so when there was family night, or there was an opportunity for me to be at a gathering with like-minded people, I probably chose the like-minded people because my family wasn't coming at that time. And so I had to be so intentional with my life and who I put around me, because if you want momentum in your life, you got to get selfish and get intentional in what you want to create.
Yeah, so when you choose to step into a life of momentum, it will disrupt some of your normal patterns.
Yeah.
Us doing this, saying first of all, we kind of shed the shell of life is amazing, because from an outside looking in, people really thought we had it together. And I'm not saying we were trying to make it look like we were, but I think America and Americans are really good at, kind of rolling up our garage doors and going in and closing the garage door and then dealing with real life behind closed doors.
Yeah.
We come out in the neighborhoods and, hey, how you doing? Or Sunday morning at church, oh, I'm just blessed. Just blessed. What are you blessed? I mean, the argument in the car on the way here didn't sound blessed, but because we're all going through these different things. And when you reach a point to where it's like, no, I'm making the decision that, okay, I'm waking up. Yeah. I do have a desire for more. Then I'm like, okay, these are the areas that I'm going to confront. And normally, please do not pick yourself apart today. Find one area that, I just want to get better. My good buddy, Corey Baker, wrote a book called Chasing Better. I encourage everyone to get that book. But Corey just says, chase the best version of you. Yep. Pick one area this month to get better in. That's it. One area. We're 9 years in this process of figuring this stuff out. And you know what? We confront 1 to 2 things a year. That's all. Otherwise, we'll go into this beat-up pity party session, won't we, Tia? And it's just like you try to disrupt and change too much. Yeah. And then number 3 is, okay, I made the decision. I'm confronting some areas of my life, but what do I want? Yeah. What do I want to create? And when you get clear on what you want versus what you don't want, some of you health coaches out there know what I'm talking about. You ask somebody, like, where are you at and where you want to be? I just know I don't want to be fat anymore. Okay, what do you want? I just know I don't want to be on medications anymore. Okay, what do you want? I just know I don't.
Our energy always goes back.
We're always very clear on what we don't want. But there does come a time in our life where we can say, you know what? God, universe, what do I want? Why am I here? What can I create? What kind of legacy can I leave for my family? Not just money, not just debt, but real things. Yeah.
I think this comes down to wanting more, because society kind of keeps you here, right? And when I began to get around people that said, yeah, we're going to be world changers. We're going to, be the chain breakers for our family bloodline. And I got around these kind of people. I was like, yeah, like I had been looking for momentum in my life for so long, and everyone around me was just like, it is what it is. And when I began to get around people like you all in the room, I was like, okay, those dreams are possible. So some of you have dreams within you that you've allowed to just go dormant. But as you become a creator of your life, you get to wake those dreams up again. Because without vision, we perish. So many of us have allowed our past to dictate our future. And I want you to wake up to allow yourself to imagine what you want your future to look like. What in 20, 30 years from now, what do you want your family, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, what do you want your life to look like? Because as you get fiercely in making this decision, in confronting the things that you no longer are going to have in your life, and you begin to become a creator, I mean, this is where your momentum is unstoppable. Are you going to still have your days? Absolutely. But the momentum keeps propelling you forward.